Good day, sir. I am Luz Tomarong, and my report for today's video is about legal and sexual and reproductive rights of women. The sexual and reproductive health and rights, or SRHR, of women and girls are too often sidelined from key policy debates on women's rights, dismissed as controversial and separate to discussions on women's economic and political lives. Decision makers and politicians silo different aspects of women and girls' lives in policy initiatives, neatly separating rights related to bodily and autonomy from workplace rights in ways that are neither realistic nor helpful. The lives of women and girls are complex, varied, and intersectional. SRHR cuts across every aspect of women's and girls' lives, both enabling and limiting life opportunities. The freedom to decide if and when we marry and have children, to live free from violence, and to make decisions regarding our bodies are key to empowering women economically. The global status of women's and girls' sexual and reproductive health and rights is disturbing. 225 million women worldwide want but lack access to contraception. Approximately 800 women die daily from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth, and 40% of United Nations member states criminalize same-sex relationships between consenting adults. Why it matters? Global Fund for Women believes that a woman's ability to control her own body and access health services that needs regardless of her sexuality, where she lives, her income level, or her ethnicity is a fundamental right. When a young woman knows her sexual and reproductive health rights and can decide for herself when to have sex or to become a mother, and when she is safe from sexual violence, then she is empowered to fully realize her other rights. She can complete her education, get a job, or run for political office. We need more girls and young women to be able to realize their full potential. How we are making an impact. While hard-won gains for sexual health and rights are often hampered by disturbing setbacks, Global Fund for Women is determined to change the status quo through targeted investments in grassroots, women's groups, and proactive campaigns. Global Fund for Women's helping transform lives and give voice to women and girls in the fight for their sexual health and reproductive rights. Global Fund for Women has awarded 1,384 grants to 832 organizations to advance women's and girls' sexual and reproductive health and rights around the world. Women's groups we have supported help decriminalize first trimester abortion in Mexico City and Uruguay. We also supported the First Out lesbian groups in China, Croatia, India, Kyrgyzstan, Lebanon, and many other places. It should be noted that the Women's Convention is the only one of the 6 human rights treaties in the United Nations system to mention family planning, the right of women in rural areas to have access to adequate health care facilities, including information, counseling, and services in family planning. The Convention also refers to women's right to protection of health and to safety in working conditions, including the safeguarding of the function of reproduction. Before examining concrete instances of violations of health-related rights, clarify the meaning of the two key concepts, autonomy and discrimination. Autonomy means the right of a woman to make decisions concerning her fertility and sexuality free of coercion and violence, much turns on our understanding of coercion and violence. Key to this notion of choice. These rights impose certain correlative duties upon healthcare providers and deliverers of services. They are bound to disclose information of proposed treatments and their alternatives so as to obtain the information consent of the client, and they must respect her right to refuse treatment. Autonomy also means that a woman seeking health care in relation to her fertility and sexuality is entitled to be treated as an individual in her own right, the sole client of the health care provider, and fully competent to make decisions concerning her own health. This is a matter, among other things, of the woman's right to equality before the law as to her legal capacity. The second concept that deserves some explication is that of discrimination. Equality implies non-discrimination, and discrimination is a violation of the right to equality. The Convention defines the term discrimination against women as any distinction, exclusion, or restriction made on the basis of sex which has the effect or purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise by women, irrespective of their marital status, on a basis of equality of men and women. There are two comments are in place. First, the Convention adopts an effect approach whereby discrimination is condemned even if it is not purposeful. This is of particular significance in the area of health, where much of the discrimination is evident in differences in the health status of women and men, but is the result of certain patterns of behavior sometimes described as natural. The second comment is the definition of discrimination under the Convention applies to all women, irrespective of their marital status. This is of significance of two respects. First, it expresses the underlying recognition of the institution of marriage as constructing women's social status, which is relevant in the health area, where women are sometimes denied care and services because they are not married. Second, it also gives expression to an underlying theme of feminist theory on gender equality, that equality is not a matter of women's personal relations with men, but rather a matter of women's discrimination as a group in a society that is constructed collectively by gendered patterns of power, one of which is the traditional marital relation. Social construction of difference. While the Convention acknowledged the maternal function of women, social and cultural patterns of conduct often glorify motherhood in a manner that circumscribes women's right to autonomy. In exercising life choices, cultural and religious attitudes may value women according to their ability to produce children. Biological difference. While such social phenomena are clearly mediated by gender discrimination, health-related discrimination might be attributed in part to men. Biological difference between women and men. Contemporary feminist legal theory propounds that the principle of gender equality takes into account such difference, rather than requiring women to meet standards set by a male model.